So this is the Necturus, and beginning with the axial musculature, the first muscle is the dorsalis trunci, which is found on the top of the animal, and its origin is the transverse processes of vertebrae myocepta. Insertion is transverse processes of vertebrae myocepta, and it's homologous to the epaxial trunci of the shark. The next muscle is the rectus abdominis, which is found here, and its anterior pubis rectus. Its origin is anterior pubis, its insertion is rectus cervicis, and it is homologous to the hypaxial muscle in the shark. The next three muscles are the external oblique, internal oblique, and the transversus, which are found on the side of the animal right here. And they all originate from the transverse processes of vertebrae. Their insertion is the connective tissue of rectus abdominis, and they are all homologous to the hypaxial muscles in the shark. The next section is the dorsolateral head musculature, and the first muscle is the adductor mandibulae anterior, which is found here. And its origin is the parietal and frontal, its insertion is the dentary, and it's homologous to the levator palatoquadrati adductor mandibulae preorbitalis in the shark. The next is the adductor mandibulae externus, which is found here. And its origin is the parietal, its insertion is the dentary, and it is also homologous to the levator palatoquadrati adductor mandibulae preorbitalis in the shark. The third muscle is the depressor mandibulae, which is this section in between right here. Its origin is the parietal and squamosal, its insertion is the angular, and it is homologous to the levator hyoideus superficial constrictors in the shark. The next muscle is the branchiohyoides, which is found here. And its origin is the visceral arch number 3, and its insertion is visceral arch number 2, and it is homologous to the levator hyoideus superficial constrictors. The last muscle in this section is the levatorus acrum, or arcum, and it is found right here. And its origin is the fascia dorsalis trunci, its insertion is epibranchial cartilages, and it's homologous to the cucularis in the shark. The next section of the Necturus is the ventral throat musculature, and the first muscle is the intermandibularis, which is right here, and its origin is the mandible, insertion media raphe, and it's homologous to the intermandibularis of the shark. The next is the interhyoideus, which is found on the underside of the intermandibularis, right here, and its origin is the fascia of depressor mandibulae and branchiohyoideus, and its insertion is the median raphe. The last muscle in this section is the genoihyoid, which is found right here, these two sections right here, and its origin is the mandible, insertion is the second basibranchial cartilage, and it is homologous to the coracomandibular in the shark. The next section is the pectoral musculature, and the first one is the procoricohumerales, which is found right here. And its origin is the procoricoid, its insertion is the humerus, and it's homologous to the pectoral fin abductors in the shark. The next is the supracoricoideus, which is found right here, and its origin is the coracoid cartilage, insertion humerus, also homologous to the pectoral fin abductors. The last in this section is the pectoralis, which is found here. Its origin is the linea alba, insertion humerus, and homologous to the pectoral fin adductors. The next section is the dorsolateral medial pectoral musculature, and the first muscle in this section is the pectoroscapularis, which is found in here. and its origin is the epibranchial cartilage, insertion, scapula, and it's homologous to the coracle in the shark. The next is the coccularis, which is found again also in this area right here, and its origin is the fascia of dorsalis trunki. Its insertion is the scapula near glenoid fossa, and it is homologous to the coccularis in the shark. The next muscle is the rectus cervicus, which is found in this space, and its origin is the rectus abdominis, insertion branchial cartilages, and it is homologous to the coracoid in the shark. The next muscle is the dorsalis scapulae, which is this muscle right here, closest to the head, and its origin is the suprascapular cartilages, insertion humerus, homologous to the pectoral fin abductors in the shark. This last muscle in this section is the latissimus dorsi, which is found right here.
That's it. Let's go through
And its origin is the fascia of dorsalis trunki, insertion humerus, also homologous to the pectoral fin abductors in the shark. The last section for the Necturus is the forelimb musculature. And the first one is the triceps brachii, which are these muscles right here. And their origin is the coracoid, scapula, and humerus, insertion ulna, homologous to the pectoral fin adductors in the shark. The next muscle is the
dorsalis trunki, so that would be up here.
is the coracobrachialis, which is this muscle,
Rectus abdominis.
and its origin is the coracoid, its insertion is the humerus, and it's homologous to the pectoral fin adductors in the shark. The next one is the humeroantebrachialis, which is above the coracobrachialis, and its origin is the humerus, insertion radius, homologous to the pectoral fin adductors in the shark. The next one is the flexors, which are part of the fingers, which origin from the ventral. Its origin and insertion is the ventral antebrachium, and it's homologous to the pectoral fin adductors in the shark. And the last muscle in the Necturus is the extensors, which is also part of the fingers, and its origin and insertion is the dorsal antebrachium, and it is homologous to the abductors in the shark.